I knew after 2008 when the market collapsed that we lost half of everything we had saved for. And so I was looking for something. So real estate came into our lives at a really important time. After 1 year of being in single family, I just started praying, Lord, show me another way. And all of a sudden, monopoly kind of came into my mind. And I was thinking, I need to pivot to big buildings. During COVID, we pivoted down to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. We have seen insurance just escalate to the point where it's not affordable in Florida anymore. So we went up 340% in that market alone. I've become a good capital raiser, but I think I became a good capital raiser because I was posting about all the different flips I've done. I've done 45 flips. So when you're talking about construction experience, I have that now.
Welcome to Multifamily Rockstars. So as you guys know, these are the episodes where we deep dive into our guests' deals and, give you some actionable items so you can get started, some practical items so you can get started. And, so you can do your first deal, especially if you're brand new to multifamily. And I've got my co-host, Mark Nagy, with me here as usual.
What's going on, Rod? Good to be back in 2025, New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, brother. Right. Good to be here. Well, we have got a real treat today. She's what you would call an original if you watch that vampire series, in my Warrior program. And her name's Jennifer Barner, and she's a founder of Lighthouse Ventures and just a beautiful, beautiful soul, beautiful human being. And she actually, we did do an interview with her way back when. I mean, we're at, I don't know, how many interviews we had now? 800, 900, a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a long time ago. So a lot of water under the bridge since that interview. So it's just a treat to actually have you in the Rockstar series here. It's long overdue. Welcome back, Jennifer.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Rod. I just love the Warrior group so much. They've added so much to my life, both personally and financially. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, no question. Now, I know you're now in almost 1,200 doors in 5 states, and you've achieved your goal of putting your 4 children through college debt-free. You've six-plexed your net worth. You've done coaching for us. It's just incredible journey from where you started. But why don't you tell us how you started, okay? And take us back and tell that little story about your transition from single to multi as well. I love that story.
Well, I didn't know anything about real estate. I have a finance degree, and I had always been asking our financial advisor, how do I invest in real estate? And they kept saying, well, you can't. And then I was invited to a real estate conference. It was the Rich Dad conference. And she stood up there, the gal that was presenting, and said, I started out using my IRA in real estate. And I'm like, wait, what? How'd you do this? And she said, if they're telling you you can't, means they can't. They're not a qualified custodian. And that was a game changer for our life. We have 4 children, and they were fast approaching college. We had 4 in 6 years. And so I knew after 2008 when the market collapsed that we lost half of everything we had saved for. And so I was looking for something. So real estate came into our lives at a really important time. And after 1 year of being in single family, I just started praying, Lord, show me another way. And all of a sudden, monopoly kind of came into my mind. And I was thinking, I need to pivot to big buildings. So I started listening to as many podcasts as I could. I kept coming back to you, Rod, over and over and over. And I think you'd only been doing the podcast probably 6 months. And then you said, I'm thinking about doing some coaching. And if you're interested, reach out to me. So I saw, I got on.
Did I actually sign you up personally?
Yes, you did.
Holy cow. Wow, you really are an original. Holy cow.
2017?
It was 2017, your first boot camp.
Wow.
I was there on the front row in 2018. It was January 2018. I was on the front row.
That was Tampa?
Yes, that was Tampa. And 350 people in that room. Yeah. It was a great boot camp. And I'll tell you, your boot camps are the same, and they're so good. It was so good back then, and it's still so good. That's what I love
Thank
about
you.
the program. Yeah, it's
Thank you. Well, now we're up to 1,000 people, so we've improved our population a little bit, and we're now at, I don't know, what, 2,000
Six,
warriors, Mark? I don't know,
somewhere around there.
pushing,
Yeah.
yeah, somewhere around there, 2,000 warriors. I think they're at 250,000 plus units that they own. We can't keep track anymore. We've got a coaching call today, actually, right after this interview, and I've got, every now in these coaching calls, I'll go through, oh, they close this deal, they close this deal, they close this deal, just to inspire everybody. And I think I saw like 8 to 10 that I'm going to bring up this on this call just in the last 3 weeks. So or month
wow.
rather. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. So anyway,
That
so you came to the boot camp and it's been all downhill since then, right?
No, I jumped in with both feet and I was like, this is it. This is my path to getting into something, going faster. I needed to go as fast as I could because I had 4 kids that I got to put through college. And although my husband has a great job and we'd been saving so diligently, we still didn't have enough because of escalating costs of tuition.
Sure.
Um, so, about a year and a half into your program, though, I called you and I said, Rod, I have been looking high and low, turning over every rock. I've underwritten 250 deals and I still don't have a deal done. And you said, well, in the meantime, go back to doing what you were doing. And so I went back to flipping homes. And then, as life would have it, COVID hit. And when everybody else started putting on the brakes, that's when I saw my opportunity. And I
Hmm.
said, now's the time. And so I left my backyard of Kansas City and I went to another market where I saw huge signs of growth, which was the Northwest Arkansas area where Walmart is headquartered, JB Hunt, Tyson Foods, and they're building new highways down in that area and it's just exploding. So I got together with a broker and I just mentioned my frustration of being in multifamily and no brokers will ever call me back. And I was whining, lots of whining. And he took compassion on me and said, you know what? I think I got a property for you. I haven't listed it, but why don't you take a look at the financials? I'm telling you what, I underwrote it and I was like, wait, I got to do this again. Something must be off on my spreadsheet because it turned green, meaning it's go time.
Right.
And we got that deal under contract and it's been the
So
best
when
deal.
was that? That was 2020, 21,
That was 2020. We closed.
2020.
Yeah, it took us three
Where in
months.
Arkansas was it? Bentonville, where they are,
It
or
was
where at?
Springdale, which
Springdale.
is
Okay.
sandwiched between Bentonville and Fayetteville.
Gotcha.
That's so funny.
Okay.
We just bought a deal 2 weeks ago in Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith, right up there.
There you go.
All right.
Yes.
It's
And
a
I
great
bet you
market.
probably rode the COVID boom up from
Yes.
there, if I had to
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, tell us about this deal. I know you said all the lights turned green, right? What about
Yeah.
this deal looked good? What were you guys going to do to this deal? Bring us into this.
Yeah. So one of the things that you always love to see is a high expense ratio when you're looking at a new property because it's a sign that it's probably being mismanaged.
Mismanaged. Hmm.
Yeah. So that was a clue. And then the property management company, they didn't seem like they were overly concerned that they were sitting at a 7% vacancy in a market that was most other properties in the area were all 100% occupied. And
Hmm.
their rents were sitting at $450 to $625. And
Wow.
it wasn't a property where hubcaps are missing off the cars and cars are up on blocks. I mean, it's a nice property.
Hmm.
So and it was sitting right next door to the central water government office that was brand new.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at that property going, this is a home run. I just don't know how we don't succeed on this property. And financing was still really low at 3.51.
Nice.
We were able to get fixed debt. Now we
Hmm.
missed out on getting interest only because it was a smaller market.
Hmm.
But yeah, we were very, very conservative. I partnered with Ed Mazzell. That was the first
Hmm.
deal. And
He's another warrior, by the way, right?
Just had him
yeah,
on a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes, we did. That's right.
okay. Yeah, the beautiful thing about that is, and you're going to love this, We underwrote it. We submitted our letter of intent to buy, and they came back and they kind of laughed at our offer because it was $500,000 under what they were asking. And then Ed said, we need to go back and let's look at our underwriting and see if we can come up at all. So as we're underwriting it, we noticed the square footage that they were representing was larger than it actually was. So we tweaked our offer and we came down even further on our offer. And
Wow.
he said, go ahead and submit that. And I said, Ed, they already declined our first offer. He goes, I know, but you never know. These things could turn and they may decide that they want to get out. And so we better go with the number we would really want to buy it at. I'm like, all right, fair. I'll submit it. So I submitted the new one. And 3 weeks later, they reach out and they said, hey, we accepted your offer. And I'm like,
Wow.
I said, which one? So just to be clear. And they accepted the lower offer.
Wow. Did they tell you why? I'm just curious.
They were just ready to move on.
They were done. They were done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And guys, that's the way it works. And let me interject something real quick before you move on. Very often, and I tell my warriors this all the time, if they say no, circle back because, they may get other offers. They may even accept another offer that falls through. I can't tell you how often you get it if you circle back and stay at top of mind with the broker. Well, that's fantastic. So how many units was it? And how did you finance it? What was the debt?
Yeah, so we got Freddie Mae.
Oh, it's Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac debt. Okay,
Freddie
good.
Mac, excuse me, Freddie Mac. We got a 7-year term.
Okay.
And it was a step down prepayment penalty.
Right.
And we started getting offers just a year later on this property,
Yeah.
people wanting to buy it, but we didn't sell because of that prepayment
Yeah,
penalty that we were going to have.
Yeah, let me explain real quick. That's called conforming debt, guys, meaning it's non-recourse, meaning if they foreclose, they're not going to come after you personally, which of course you don't want them to foreclose regardless, but they're only going to take the property back, it's conforming non-recourse debt. But with that, they have very steep prepayment penalties. And what she means by step down is like year one, it may be 5%, year two, 5%, year three, 4, 3, 2, 1, down to 0, ultimately in year 7 or 6. And so, and that's significant when you're talking about millions of dollars. That's big money that you'd lose. And so, the best way to sell an asset like that for you today would be an assumption, but you're probably pushing up against, year 5 or 6 at this point, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're heading into our 5th year.
Yeah, 5th year. So an assumption may or may not be feasible this late in the game, but that's that's a very appealing interest rate because that's a fraction of what they are right now. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, please continue. So step down interest rate and the rents were 450 to 600. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes.
Good Lord. So where are they at today? Just out of curiosity.
So today we're sitting at 850 and
Okay.
925. We're
Nice.
100% occupied again.
Wow.
And so you had asked about what was our plan going into it. So we thought we'll go in here. We had budgeted $1,800 to do light fixtures, change the classic gold colored walls to gray, and then replace not appliances, but the lavatory sink faucets, the tub faucet, those kind of things. Also the kitchen sink faucet, just upgrade them a little bit and also get rid of that old classic gold on the door handle and the hinges and bring them up a little bit. Do the silver. That was, the polished chrome was popular a few years ago. Yeah. So that's what we were budgeting and we started to implement that. But as fast as we were doing that, the classic units were approaching, they were within $25 of our renovated units, our lightly renovated units. So after 3 months, we stopped all renovations.
Stopped all renovations. Yeah. By the way, guys, just so you understand, what she means by classic is that's the way they are today. Okay, that's a term that's used for the condition of the units today, and then so you call them classics, and that's very common. Where you start doing renovations, you're not getting the multiple that you need to make sense. I'll tell you, and let me give you a rule of thumb on this, guys. If you you should be able to recapture the amount of money you do in your renovation, ideally within 3 years. Okay. So if you're going to spend, what is it, 3,600? I can't do the math in my head, but whatever you spend on your
Right.
renovation, you want to recapture it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you spend 3,600, you want to get at least $100 rent bump. That math is
That's right.
correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So you just realized that the bump wasn't there. So it's like, why spend the money? Um,
Right.
okay. Got it. Okay. Fantastic.
So what happened
Um,
after that then? Did you just start renting out all the classics? What happened then?
Yeah. So now what we're doing is we just decided, all right, we're going to scale back that plan, not touch anything other than the paint color.
right.
So we just started changing the classic gold walls to gray,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all we needed. And we're still doing
Nice.
that to this day, and we're still 100% full.
Wow.
And we gotta push them again. So
Yeah.
about every 3 months, we have the conversation, is it time to push another $25? And so we
Yeah.
just keep pushing $25 every three
Well,
months.
those rents, if you look at it on a national scale, are still very low. 850 and 950 is very low if you look nationally. So I think you still have a long way to go. So you're in now almost 1,200 units in 5 states, and you said, I think you told us before we started recording, they're all with other warriors, that you've partnered with
Yes,
other warriors. Is that accurate? Yeah. By the
yes.
way, guys, if you are interested in applying to our warrior program, text the word crush to 72345. I mean, what would you say about the program if you had a few seconds to talk about the program, Jennifer?
Well, I as a coach now, I tell people you want to do business with people that are being trained in the same manner that you are, that are learning the same underwriting skills that you are, that have the same characters and integrity that you do. And so what I love about your program, Rod, is you attract that same kind of person. And so it just makes it way easier to do business that have been trained under the same philosophies and skills that you're trying to train everybody. I have so
Yeah.
much more confidence in doing deals with people that have went through your program because I know that they've gotten a good education.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So again, guys, if you're interested, text the word crush to 72345 and we can help you crush it in this exciting business. Um, Go ahead, Mark.
One thing you kind of glossed over there a minute ago was you said it took you, a year and a half, right, in this without getting any deals done. And a lot of people listening would be like, "Oh my God, that's so long!" Like they would quit before that probably. But now you're at 1,200 doors, and once you did that first deal, as you know, very often we see that domino effect, right? The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. What happened after that, and what was that key moment or catalyst that kind of got you to scale up to where you're at today after that first one?
Yeah, so after that first one, 6 months later, I was invited to be a loan guarantor with Ed on another deal in North Carolina. So I think I proved myself worthy of being a good business partner. And so he invited me to come be his partner on that deal. And then he invited me to be a partner on the next deal and then the next deal. And so it just worked out that we worked well together. I think our skill set probably complemented each other. So, and then the latest deals I've been doing, I've been raising capital for other people's deals because I haven't had time to look for my own deals and, just kind of our head down on asset management at this point also.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what were those initial roles then? Going back to that first deal, you said you and Ed kind of played complementary roles. What sort of roles did you take on? What did he take on? I don't know if there were other team members involved as well. What did that look like for the listeners listening who may need to figure out what they want to do?
Yeah. So, Ed really quickly put together a spreadsheet of all the things we needed to do to have success at the property. Starting with, week one, these are the things we need to do. Thankfully, I was coming from a single family background where I already had a single family portfolio of about 30 doors, and I had been managing those myself. And so I already had management experience. And so I was able to manage our expenses or watch those expenses as we were, initially we were renovating. So I was really keeping a good idea on that. And then we would meet every single morning and make sure we went through our checklist and who's doing what. And we would just assign roles and tasks to each other to make sure we were handling everything that needed to be done so that we would come out of the gates really strong.
Oh,
And
that's very, very good. Good.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to interject something. You had those 30 houses. You didn't just have management experience, you had construction experience as well. So you were
yes,
used to dealing with vendors and repairs, minor, major, whatever, with 30 houses, and you've encountered major repairs as well. And probably some major renovations also, which is fantastic experience on the asset management side.
mhm,
Now I know that Ed is fantastic at raising money. He'll talk to anybody. He's a networker extraordinaire. Would you say you brought in more of the analytical piece, or because you're raising money now as well, or were you both? I know he's a little analytical as well, but he's great
yeah,
at networking.
yeah. So that was one of the hurdles because I wasn't going to be investing in my own state. And it was one of the hurdles that I had to overcome is how do I get all these people that I had been talking up multifamily with in my own community? How do I get them to now pivot and go to Arkansas? And so what I started finding is the more I started talking about Arkansas and the different markets, and I created a meetup locally, and I invited all my friends and people I knew that were in real estate from single family to come over here to multifamily and let's talk multifamily. Let's work together. Let's try to build a community of investors that want to invest in these. And so what ended up happening is as I was striking out on local opportunities, I started sharing with them about the other markets that surrounded the Kansas City area. And they started to listen to me and started realizing, hey, Jennifer, we need to take this seriously. Jennifer doesn't think she's going to be able to find anything in Kansas City. So we need to be preparing ourselves that we're going elsewhere to invest. And so what I now do, I mean, just like you all do, you look at the growth factors in the different cities and who's booming, who's not. And so it's very easy now for me to look at a city and say, okay, here's the reason I'm going over here. And I invite you to join me because here's what I'm seeing. And as soon as you can share with your investors the growth indicators of a market, they're going to go with you. But when you're talking about complementary skills, Ed and I share a lot of the same skills. I've become a good capital raiser, but I think I became a good capital raiser because I was posting about all the different flips I've done over the last 5 years. I've done 45 flips. So when you're talking about construction experience, I have that now. And people just, when I was reaching out to them to say, do you want to be part of this deal? I kept hearing over and over that we have confidence in you after watching you over the last 3 to 5 years in this space, that you know what you're doing. And we feel comfortable investing with you. So
Isn't that
that,
interesting? So
yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no,
so you going back into single family,
yes.
showing what you're doing has springboarded the multifamily capital raising piece. Isn't that
Mhm.
interesting? Wow. It's
Well,
funny
I
how it
heard,
all builds on itself. Wow.
well, Rod, I look back and when you told me to go back and do, I always think that it wasn't a setback, it was a set up for
Mm.
further success. And it really did give me the courage to go back into multifamily and say, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I can spot when somebody's taken advantage of us in a heartbeat now. When I
Oh,
get
yeah.
quotes, I'm like, what the heck is this? Come on, people. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So I think when people come into multifamily, you have to partner with somebody that has already got a portfolio of single family homes or some kind of portfolio experience or building or construction, just so you're not taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
it's super, super helpful. If you've done some single family, and that's the natural progression anyways, to go
yeah.
from single family to multifamily. So again, if you're considering getting some guidance, so you can experience the life you're looking for this year rather than, 7, 8 years from now, text Crush to 72345 just to see if the Warrior program might be able to help you, overcome any challenges that you have so you can accomplish what you want. And I don't remember where my mindset was when I suggested for you to get back into it. I think you were floundering, and I was like, okay, you love single family, just do that. Keep playing with this. Stay, keep consuming information. I think that's probably the way the conversation went, and and uh, and don't give up on this. And you didn't. And so
So I know you talked about the different markets that you've been looking at, doing all the research. I am very bullish on the Midwest myself right now as well, because it hasn't had the inventory spike, from the COVID building and everything. What do you like moving forward? Can you share any secret markets that you like, or
yeah, well,
neighborhoods or
where are you
cities?
invested
Where
now?
do you
Yeah,
like
where are
moving
you?
forward?
Yeah, where are you
Yeah.
invested now as well? To say all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I love that. So during COVID, we pivoted down to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And we have seen insurance just escalate to the point where it's not affordable in Florida anymore. So we went up 340% in that market alone. So I doubt I'll be looking in the near future in that market till they can get all that figured out. Um, I like the Midwest. I still like the Northwest Arkansas area. I like Dallas a lot. I like, Fort Worth. I don't know if people are aware, but there was a tycoon that used to own a lot of the land, um, just to the, I want to say to the,
Perot?
you know what? I don't know who it was,
Well,
but
Perot owned all the land where they built the airport. That was how he was a
okay, no,
billionaire. No, not him. Okay.
that's not it. No.
Okay.
So they were landlocked, which is why Dallas had all the growth. Fort Worth really never continued to grow. And it's because a tycoon owned a ton of the land and he wasn't willing to sell it off. Well, in the last 2 years, he started selling off the land. So Amazon's taken a big chunk. I want to say Microsoft has taken a big chunk of it. So you're starting to see that land explode. And so I really like these bedroom communities in Fort Worth. A lot of them were built in the 80s. And you know as well as I do, Rod and Mark, that cap rates have decompressed and we're starting to see fire sales on a lot of buildings. I've already started to see a lot of properties come to auctions, but anything in Texas that's surrounding the Dallas-Fort Worth area is it's crawling. It's that urban crawl. And I'm starting to see a lot of similarities between it and Northwest Arkansas. So Mark,
Mm,
we should partner
okay.
up.
We should.
Okay.
I was going to
There you
mention that
go.
after the
There,
podcast here.
there you go. Well, that's the benefit of being in a group like this, guys. Is it's all about. I just had lunch with a warrior an hour ago, and we're looking at doing something together as well. Well, listen, Jennifer, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes and coming on the show. I know you're going to be at the boot camp here in a couple of weeks and doing a presentation. And we do case studies on deals. You'll be doing a case study on I think that the deal we just talked about, maybe showing what you did with a more detail. And so, yeah, if you're not signed up for the boot camp, it's coming up January 25th and 26th. What were you thinking? Because it is going to be awesome. I don't sell anything there. It's just training for 2 days. So, but Jennifer, thanks for coming on, sweetie. It's so great to see you. And I just love it every time I'm around your energy.
Oh, well, likewise. Thank you so much. Again, it's been a pleasure, and I'm so grateful for this group and for you, Rod. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.